Today I'm going to do a watercolor painting, and I'm going to share with you one of my methods to preserve the white spaces. That is, using masking fluid. I will spend enough time on the planning stage. Drawing is part of the planning. So spend enough time, draw as much detail as you need it, and then you'll be more ready for the painting. Next, I would wet the paper thoroughly back and front, and then I'm going to stretch it on the board with staples. After the paper dries, and then I would use the masking fluid to mask the areas that I want to preserve. Let's talk about why we need to protect the white spaces. If we paint it around the white spaces, that will be fine. That usually the case when you have a smaller painting. But when you have a large painting, and also you have a lot of small spaces, small lines that you don't want to pay too much attention to protect those lines when you are starting the painting, which is you're supposed to focus on the big masses, the big composition and the big value contrast. We don't need to worry about the small detail at the beginning, but when we need those white spaces, it will be there, and then we can start working in the small details. There's many ways you can apply the masking fluid. The masking fluid is very sticky. If I'm going to use the brush to apply the masking fluid, and if I just dip the brush into the masking fluid would get into between all those brush hairs. Very difficult to get the masking fluid off after the masking fluid dry, which is the masking fluid dry really quickly. The simple trick is, first, wet the brush, and then let the soap to get into the brush here first. Then the masking fluid won't be able to get into between the hair, but only wet outside of the brush. So that is the trick. And it is clean. So there's no much cleanup to do. First, I want to mask those vines. Just keep dipping. Let's wait for a few minutes for the masking fluid layer to dry. Painting is ready for the next step. I'm going to start putting the big colors. So first we're going to establish just 3 color contrast. Mix the blue with the red color to create a dark purple colors. Let's create that first layer. And I have some burn umber. And here we go. Keep mixing more colors. And also don't be afraid to change the color. There's no masking in the 2 figures, so be a little careful as you moving color in. If you are getting the color into the light area, you're gonna have more work to do. Try to go along with the outside edge. And this is why it's important when you are in the beginning of the drawing process that you'll be able to get a little bit more details. So now when you paint it, you don't have to guess that much. But you have to start somewhere. And over here, there's a very thin line over here. But for now, I'm going to let go of that. I'm going to use scratch to get that color back, that small line back. This is easier to do. I'm going to switch to a little smaller brush to go through that. A smaller flat brush. This process you want to do a little quicker, as quick as possible, so that don't let the color getting dry. So I have them connected, so a little bit more consistent. Okay, this area is almost there. I'm going to go around on the other side. If you want the color remain to be a little bit brighter, I will use the red and the blue color. Okay, now I'm gonna walk into the middle over here, the gap. I don't want this wet accumulate at the bottom over here, so it's going to blotch, take away those wet, like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. You see, this is already create some kind of run back effect, so we're gonna get rid of that before it create too much trouble. Okay, I'm gonna keep it going. Probably want this area to be even darker, so to create better contrast. And there's some green colors for the leaves and would be there, so I just painted the area that's supposed to be see-through as the wall. Okay, now we have the first round of colors, but this is not supposed to be the final colors. the final color could be even darker or somehow. So right now, what I want to do, also gonna paint it the same colors into the gap here. Okay. Now what I want to do, I'm gonna start applying some green colors and make the yellow with the blue color. There's the green colors. On my color palette, I don't buy the green colors because I can mix any shade of green color I want. Okay, so far so good. I may not want to have too much wet into this new color because the first round of colors, the wall colors, is still wet. Also some green color right here too. It's a little lighter. This is technique also called dropping in, but here is a bit different. Dropping in a little bit more water saturations within the colors than the existing color. So it will push the wet will push the color around. That's good. So far, so good. I'm gonna start putting some green colors into this area too. Need to be a little bit more darker. There we go. Now the tree here, actually pretty good. I need a little retouching and also take out some colors for the branches. And I'm probably going to do it now. Let's see. I'm going to take that color out. Actually, watercolor is pretty easy. Lots of simple technique and do lots of good stuff. It's good here. And with a little brown color, I'm going to take the burnt sienna. Just put it in here, the color, the branches color. And since I'm going to leave that a little bit later to put a light color in the area that wash out. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the flat brush to take out the space for the trunk. Yep, that's just return some area back to the wall colors. Okay. Now is good for now. I'm going to come back to this area a little bit later. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start working on the warm color on the side. And then and after the whole thing dries over here, and I'll come back to readjust the color. Okay. I'm going to mix the burnt sienna with pretty warm brown colors with the red. But that is too bright, so I need to mix with another primary color, which is the blue. Now make it a little bit darker, a little bit less as bright. But it may be still a little bit too bright. So that's probably good. I'm gonna see. Oh, maybe that's too dark. I'm gonna change that to another flat brush. Here you go. Add a little more colors, a little bit more water to that. Good. The color, a little bit separation, has a little bit separation between, but we can fix that. The next step. Maybe a little bit yellow. Maybe that's good. A little bit red. Kind of orange. Probably a little bit more brown. Okay. Well, the warm color, I do like the warm color, a little bit different from the top to the bottom. But the bottom over here, I think I need to make a little bit darker. Maybe a little bit more red. Now the first wash already dried. First, I need to touch up with this texture. A little softer, especially prepare that for this is the girl's hair. So I wanted to have a little softer on the edge. A little bit darker. And also blend in a little bit between the two colors. Putting some color in here so that in between, because it anyway is kind of in a little distance. It consider at least it's the middle ground, it's not the foreground. So I don't want it to be so much contrast between the two colors. Down here, also putting a little more texture. Okay, a little bit better. Now down here I need to have the blue color a little bit stronger. But we need to put in the color for the clothing and our other background too, in order to compare whether or not the colors is dark enough or good enough yet. But right now we're just going to get a little bit, develop a little bit texture into, and then we're going to come back to working into the other areas, the big areas. We're not do too much into for the small changes or small areas, small shapes yet, because anyway, a little bit too early for that at this point. We do want to create a little bit light. It looks like the trunk of the tree, the bottom over here. Anyway, we're gonna put a little detail color to it later. And here we're going to put a little bit difference between the different layer of the leaves. Somewhere need to be darker, maybe also put a little blue colors. Maybe see that it's a little bit of this could be the wall. Okay, let me see. And yeah, we need a little darker colors. A little darker color somewhere over here. It's good that we have masked some of their highlights so that we don't need to worry about that. So because those colors also is going to be remained to be white until we peel the mask layer off, and then we're going to putting into some kind of maybe some yellow colors into those areas. With the masking, we don't necessarily need to use any white color or opaque colors, which is the good thing. We can keep that as a translucent watercolor. Now we're putting a little bit darker details. Now I'm putting a little orange colors, a little bit orange colors. Just for the branches. Like that, it's good. I think there's already enough details going on. So the next I'm going to putting a little bit blue colors. So add a little layers, a little deeper layers of the trees, of the leaves. That a little bit blue color, it help. Always squint your eyes when you paint. Squint like that, make your eyes only see the things, so you can focus on only the thing that you want to see. But you don't want to make it too much tedious, kind of So just making sure you have that consistency through the painting. Okay, I think it's good enough. Yeah, this is still wet, so I'm gonna come back later to define that, the two trunks. So for now, I'm gonna leave off some of the accumulate wetness, get it out, otherwise it will start making textures that you don't want. Okay, this is good for now. Before we go to the left side, let me start making some colors, the blue colors. I'm gonna putting some blue colors right in here. I want a little bit brighter blue colors maybe. When I take a look. Usually, before I painting, I usually only clean about a quarter of the space to be clean, because most of the color, they don't necessarily to be bright colors in the painting. So I only have reserved an area, mostly like a quarter of the palette to be clean. I'm not sure this will be the color I want. Let me see what other blue colors, let me see. This is also good. Looks probably the same colors. Okay, take it in here. Use the other hand to make sure you have enough support. Keep your hand steady. Yeah, I think the color's okay. So I'm gonna start just to masking the big shape. That's good. And get it down here. And make sure you leave the white area there to be white. On the clothing, I never need to mask the highlight. I can just leave the highlight. Okay. I'm gonna keep going into the pants. The pants is not purely blue, so I'm gonna add a little bit red colors. Here you go. Let's see. Okay. Keep that going. Down here, leave a little white edge. Okay, we're gonna come back to the second layers, and I'm gonna keep going on this side. Try not to let it dry too quickly. Mix more colors. If you find the colors is too dark, you can just add a little water to it. It's pretty easy to solve the problem. Okay, that's the first layer. Let me take out some of start accumulating the wetness at the bottom. And also want to soften this, have some color overlapped. Okay. Now just for now, I'm gonna just put a little bit about not a lot, of burnt umber. Just tap it right here, just for now. Like that, just for now. Now I come in to the girl, probably starting from the hair also. Now I'm gonna soften the top a little bit. Like this, just with a clean brush. So at this point, I also want to get rid of these little colors that get in when I painted the background. Getting this color in here, so I'm gonna wash that out, get it off. Should be okay. And then I'm gonna start working into, let me see what kind of color I want to use, and add a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put these two colors together to see how it look like. I do like these colors. A little crimson with the red. Okay. Maybe need a little bit darker, but let's get the first layer on first. Think about that color. Well, let's cover the rest first. The clothing. We might want to do a little bit fresher, a little bit, at least a little bit darker for the clothing. Okay, let me get rid of this first. Get it out. Probably we want something a little bit darker. Let's see if I add a little bit more crimson. Yeah, it may help. And for here, so we're gonna a little bit dark color. And get that color merged into the hair. Okay, for now. I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna move on somewhere else. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work on this side. Maybe put some color to the clothing first. I think that color maybe can be a little more blue. A little bit more blue. Maybe that's too much. I'm going to. Okay. I think down here have a little bit of yellow colors, so I'm gonna add some yellow colors. That's right under here. Okay, good. And some yellow color. And also some red color here too. So the second layer of called glazing is pretty easy to change the temperature or add the other environment colors into the painting. I think I need to add a little bit red colors in here too, because of the reflection from the girl's clothing. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let the color come down here, merge into the pens. Maybe I'm gonna add a little more blue colors down in here. Maybe a little more blue. Okay. And on this side, a little bit more blue and darker too. At this stage, we don't have to get into the details. We don't need to get into the face yet. Face will be next thing. So we'll try to balance what the colors should be in the big areas to create a better compositions. And if the color compositions is not correct, it's not appealing, it doesn't really matter what the detail would how beautiful the detail are. We need to have the balance first. Okay. We need to put a little color. We don't want to touch the clothing yet because it's still wet. Just putting a little color over here to see how they look. Just for now. We want to take it out. It's still wet. Okay, for now. And then I'm going to look into this side. And this is will be interesting. I'm gonna do the outside here first, and after that drive, and then I come in here to do this part of the additions of this house. Okay, I need to have a bigger brush. I need to have it totally wet. Wet the sky. Okay. Now coming down here, and we can make it all wet. The water is not really clean, that much clean, but that's okay because this doesn't need to be very bright color either. Okay, for now, that's good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave the sky look like that, But at the bottom, I'm gonna have some kind of green color, yellow green colors going on. Add a little blue. Okay, maybe get a little bit more neutral. So I'm gonna get a little red color in here too. So I have the three primary color mixed together. It would close to more as the gray colors. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna touch it here. Looks like there's some trees in the background. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit yellow colors in the background, which is a lot of kind of those spring feeling. Not too bright because they're in the distance. Okay, something like that. Soft. It's good enough. Okay. Maybe we should add a little bit more green, yellow-green colors. And have those color come down here. Don't just stay up there. On the other hand, we want to make this a little bit more flat. Let it come down here. So not let the water keep coming down from the top to the bottom. Like that. I think these two colors too close together. So at this point, what I would also like to do, since I'm waiting, I'm gonna get those colors a little bit darker, separate from the color of the clothing. This is should be a lot darker. So get this could help, but I need a little bit more blue. Okay, now it's much darker. Much darker. Now I think I'm going to keep going around to make the background a bit darker. Maybe a little too dark, but we're gonna see. Get a little blue color into this area. I think the color getting a little stronger. I like that. Also need some warmer color, even darker. colors a little bit closer. Okay, now the color come out over there may not be a bad thing. Just need maybe just a little bit, let it off a little bit. Maybe those colors are okay. Like that. Okay, this is still a little wet. Oh, it's already close to dry. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to make that wet again because I need to make some a very soft, almost like a losing shape of those trees in the background. This kind of colors. Okay, let's see how it looks. After I established the overall compositions of the painting, I'm ready to remove the masking fluid layer from the paper, and then I will work into those spaces and the small details and then finish the painting. Using masking fluid is a useful technique for this particular painting. See you next time.